Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because honestly, we're tackling one of the most frustrating, sneaky medical mysteries of modern life. Have you ever woken up with an aching neck, a super tight jaw, or maybe an unexplained earache and just thought, I literally didn't even do anything yesterday? Well, it is incredibly validating to know you aren't just imagining things. Today, we're going to solve that exact mystery. So let's get right into it.
First things first, I want you to do a really quick physical check with me right now. Just stop what you're doing and pay attention to your mouth. Are your teeth touching? If they are, you're actually unconsciously holding tension. Your lips should be together, sure, but your teeth should be slightly apart, with your tongue just resting gently on the roof of your mouth. So it brings up a really simple question. Why exactly does a stressed mind equal a stiff neck? This is going to hook us directly into our root cause investigation, because, as you'll see, your body is telling a story your conscious mind might be completely ignoring.
All right, let's dive into Section 1, the jaw-neck pain connection.
Okay, let's look behind the scenes here. To truly understand how modern stress physically shows up in your body, we have to look at the anatomy. When your brain perceives stress, it kicks off that classic fight-or-flight response, and some very specific muscles get caught right in the crossfire. First up, you've got the masseter and temporalis. These are your primary biting and clenching muscles. When you get anxious, these guys fire right up. Then, your medial and lateral pterygoids kick in, and that creates this really deep internal jaw tension. But here's the kicker. Your jaw doesn't suffer alone. The SCM and the upper trapezius muscles in your neck end up working massive overtime just to compensate for all that jaw strain.
Which brings us to Section 2, the trigeminal-cervical superhighway.
So, we know the muscles are physically connected, but why does a clenched jaw almost always turn into a stiff neck? The answer is hiding in a pretty complex medical term, the trigeminocervical nucleus, or the TCN. Now think of the TCN like a massive anatomical superhighway, or maybe a giant neurological junction box. This is the exact spot where pain signals from your face, your jaw, and your neck all converge and mix together. They literally share the same road. So when one area lights up with tension, those signals travel right down this superhighway, and all the surrounding areas get caught in a huge neurological traffic jam.
And this brilliantly illustrates how that traffic flows. Researchers combed through a fascinating scoping review of 83 different studies, which is a ton of data, by the way, to figure out which direction these pain signals predominantly travel. They wanted to know, does neck pain cause jaw pain, or is it the other way around? Well, the data clearly shows that the dominant direction is from the orofacial and cranial regions, meaning your jaw and face, down into the cervical region, your neck. If you're clenching your jaw because you're stressed out at work, that pain is taking the TCN superhighway straight down into your neck muscles.
Moving right along to Section 3, stress and your nervous system.
Now we're shifting gears from physical anatomy into the neurology of why your body hurts so much, even when absolutely nothing is broken or torn. Check out this quote. Most people are not injured, they're dysregulated. I really want to let that massive paradigm shift sink in for a second. So many of us just automatically assume that if our pain is severe, our physical body must be severely damaged. But modern pain research actually shows us that pain is heavily influenced by the nervous system, by poor sleep, and by chronic stress. Your system isn't broken, it's just running in complete overdrive.
To really get a grasp on this dysregulation, think about this brilliant analogy. Think of actual tissue damage as a real blazing fire in your house. The smoke alarm goes off to warn you, and hey, that's a good thing. But chronic stress causes what we call nervous system sensitization. It basically turns your nervous system into an overly sensitive smoke alarm. Over time, that alarm starts blaring, not because the house is burning down, but just because you're making toast or there's a little steam escaping from the shower. The alarm, meaning the pain you feel, is very, very real, but the system has just become way too overprotective, and it's keeping those jaw and neck muscles locked down tight.
Let's look at how this plays out in daily life in Section 4, the desk posture trap.
So you layer that highly sensitive nervous system on top of our modern working conditions, and boom, we find ourselves right in the desk posture trap. We absolutely have to bust a massive myth right here. The idea that sitting perfectly straight all day long is the ultimate goal for a healthy body. The reality? Static posture, even if it's perfectly rigidly straight, causes muscle fatigue and joint stiffness. Your body actually craves and requires dynamic movement. You need to shift positions, stand up, stretch, and completely change your posture every 30 to 60 minutes. Basically, your best posture is always your next posture.
And here is another major misconception we really need to challenge. When we're in pain, our first instinct is usually just complete and total rest. Hide in bed, don't move a muscle. Actually, scratch that, because complete rest makes your joints stiffen up, Your muscles lose their strength, and your nervous system becomes even more protective and sensitive. Tissues actually heal best with guided movement. Dosed, pain-free, or even just low-pain movement keeps the circulation flowing and literally rebuilds your body's physical resilience.
So, the crucial point is knowing what to do about it. Section 5. Relief through massages and movement.
We need to get moving. Let's transition from the theory into some actual evidence-based physical therapy techniques so you can find some immediate relief. We're going to target that SCM muscle. That's the long neck muscle running from the base of your skull right down to your collarbone. You can actually do this with me right now. Start with dry hands. Take 2 fingers and place them right below your ear, right at the top of that muscle. Press ever so gently, just a really light pinch. Take a deep breath in, relax those shoulders, and then slowly work your way down the muscle, just pressing and releasing. Seriously, this simple massage works absolute wonders for a tight neck.
Awesome. Now let's stretch that exact same muscle to counteract all those long hours of sitting flexed over a keyboard. First, just gently rotate your head to look over your shoulder. Next, tilt your chin slightly up towards the ceiling. Kind of think about pointing the corner of your jaw straight up. If you want a little more, use your opposite hand to gently press down on your opposite shoulder to deepen that stretch. Hold that right there for about 10 to 15 seconds. Make sure you're breathing deeply. Remember, there should be no sharp pain here at all. Just a really wonderful opening release for the front of the neck.
Finally, let's wrap this all together in Section 6, calming the internal alarm. Releasing the physical muscles is fantastic, but remember our overly sensitive smoke alarm analogy from earlier? Treating just the muscles isn't enough. We have to stop the clenching cycle entirely by calming that internal alarm system down. And the absolute best way we do that is through our breath. I want you to try the 4-7-8 breathing technique with me. It is incredibly effective. Let's do it. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Now hold that breath for 7 seconds and exhale slowly through pursed lips for 8 long seconds. By forcing that really long, slow exhale, you are immediately sending a massive signal of profound safety straight to your brain.
What you're actually doing behind the scenes right there is activating your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve acts as the literal off switch for your body's entire fight-or-flight response. When you activate it through techniques like the 4-7-8 breathing, it immediately signals relaxation, it physically lowers your heart rate, it drops those stress hormones like cortisol, and it finally turns down that overly sensitive internal smoke alarm.
As we wrap up our investigation for today, I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Your jaw is holding your stress. It's a literal physical manifestation of your mental load. So instead of just being annoyed at the pain, what if you approached it with curiosity? What is your body actually trying to tell you? Are you overworking? Are you ignoring your own boundaries? Listen to those signals with kindness, and please give your body the rest, the movement, and the breath it is begging for.
Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. If you found this information helpful, please hit that like button. Share it with a friend who's always rubbing their neck at their desk, and make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon so you never miss an update. And if you need professional help, you can visit Dr. Gengadhar Physiotherapy and Rehabilitation Center at Amir Pet or call them at +91 8686 105177. Take care of your bodies, be kind to your nervous systems, and I will see you in the next one.